and it's almost like the church is throwing away Christ himself.
Oh, that's a bit tough.
It's strong.
It is strong. Yes,
Yeah.
okay. So you're saying this about the church, but how does the church have sex? I mean, sorry, but that's
a
the
pretty
point.
straight up
She's a
question.
prostitute.
And that's what it's talking about, sexual sin and drunkenness. And we'll actually look at what it says in Hosea chapter 3 verse 1 when it said, "The Lord said to me, go show your love to your wife again, though she is loved by another and is an adulteress. Love her as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turn to other gods and love the sacred raisin cakes." So he's talking about about worshipping these other gods, about bowing down before other images. That's what it's talking about there.
Okay, so the Old Testament people of God, they made beautiful statues to remind them about God because they had no televisions, but then they ended up worshipping in front of those very statues.
Yes.
And God said that's like sexual sin.
Yep, and the drunkenness about the pagan worship, getting caught up in this behaviour that just has you hypnotised, so to speak, like you are when you're drunk. You're just in another world.
Okay.
Not in the reality of our one true God that we should be worshipping.
So a church commits sexual sin if it makes beautiful statues, sings wonderful music, and ends up worshipping what it makes with its own hands or in front of it. That's what the Bible
pretty
says.
much, yeah.
Okay. So what about the Christian church, though? Does the New Testament predict that the Christian church is going to follow the same path as the Old Testament church, or?
Well, I think something really important to remember here is just to keep it straight to the point is what God told us in Exodus, and we're looking at the 10 Commandments. And we'll go there now, and we'll look at Exodus chapter 20. And here it actually says, plain and clear, verses 4 and 5, and we spoke about it earlier today. You shall not make for yourself any image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth below, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of their parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me.
That sounds pretty graphic, but it's true, isn't it?
It's true, and it's very straight to the point. There's no blurry images there.
And many of us still today are stuck in practices simply because our parents were, grandparents, great-grandparents, they worshipped that way. And yet the Holy Bible said when it comes to worship, worship only God and don't use imagery as part of the bowing down worship. Ben, yes. So how did God's people forget his law?
Well, I think St. John sort of prophesied this in Revelation, and he said it would all take place as a result of a conspiracy with that great city with the 7 hills from his time.
Okay,
I think
which is Rome, ancient Rome.
And so we can see that in Revelation 17:9 and 18, and we're reminded that this is proved true. What happened was pagan Rome became Christianized, and when that happened, many of the pagan customs kind of just got embraced. And instead of changing, they just embraced fully into Christianity, and it's just got a nice Christ-like veneer over the top of it. In fact, in the book, The Da Vinci Code, the author kind of got it right. He made this statement. He said, many Christians today would be surprised to discover how much of current Christian practice is simply the old pagan ways with a Christian veneer.
Okay, that sounds pretty rough.
Yeah.
But think about it, and let's think about it a little bit kindly. If it wasn't for Christian Rome, I mean, there wouldn't be probably Christianity.
That's
God
right.
did choose the city of Rome to send St. Paul to, and et cetera, and so forth. But the question remains for us today. Are we going to worship only God and drink from the purest fountain, which is the Holy Bible, or are we going to follow the customs and practices of our world, however they come? That's a real question for you to think about and contemplate. And thanks so much, Ben, for coming today, and thanks, Sarah. It's been wonderful to have you both.